So it's my birthday today. And if I was to start again with $10,000 in crypto, this is exactly how I'd do it with 9 years of experience behind me. I've seen it all, the brutal crashes, the altcoin hypes, the bull markets, the bear markets, the rug pulls, the lot. You name it, I've seen it. And already I've started a portfolio from scratch. Anyways, I will talk about that. But this is what I'd do if I was to split that up into altcoins or other things. And drop a comment. What would you do if $10,000 was in your lap? What would you do with it? I want to know now. Oh, and because it's my birthday, you've got to hit that like button. So let's set the scene a little bit. As I've alluded to it, I've been in the space since 2016, a long, long time ago. And if I was to start again, yeah, I would do it very differently. And I know a lot of people will come on and say, oh, but times are different. Yeah, they are. And you're probably not going to make 100 million X's in, a 3-week period like the ICO boom of 2017. However, you can still build wealth in crypto. I still personally believe this is a faster market than any other market, than the traditional market. And I've set perceived $10,000 as a budget just so you're not going crazy, but ultimately having a bit of a goal. Now, ultimately, you can do two things. You can dollar cost average and do that over time, which is what I recommend. Or if you do have some money laying around and you want to do it, this video might give you a little bit of perspective of realistic expectations and probably the safer way to do things instead of going YOLO into all the altcoins or random meme coins that may well end up as, dust, which you don't want. So the portfolio split is very, very straightforward. Now, on the screen is a screenshot of my dollar cost average challenge. Now, this has started at the first week of October, end of September time of 2024, and it's doing really well. You can see the overall element of the portfolio, and that is me putting $250 in per week every single Sunday. It's done very well. However, portfolio splits are something else that some people don't like to do. My opinion is Bitcoin on the screen here has to be at least 80% of your portfolio. And I know people will be like, what are you on about? But the reality is here, and let's talk about it. It's all about keeping wealth, not so much making it sometimes when you're an investor. The idea is to outperform inflation. The idea is to make your money grow over time, not immediately, over time. And remember that. Now, you can speculate, you can put money into altcoin markets at a certain point, and I will talk about that in more detail in a second. However, stick around and you'll see why, because 90% of people, and I've spoken to people on my Patreon, I've spoken to people on Learning Crypto over the course of the years. Now, I've been teaching since 2018, which is mad when you think about it. But the reality is here, people lose money from speculation and just getting absolutely destroyed of being silly. So if I was to start, that is exactly what I'd do right now. Honestly, I would. 80% Bitcoin until something ... I'll talk about that in a minute. Altcoins are 15%. Now, currently I have zero, well, I do have a little bit of altcoin exposure, but not as much. In terms of that situation, I've got basically Bitcoin runes as my high risk situation, which is about 5 to 6% of my entire portfolio right now. And then stable currencies, which is dry powder for potential opportunities that may well arise, or trading. Separate your investing bags to your trading, because you can have zero emotion. I am currently building a trading portfolio, and that is filling me with a lot of joy because it's doing really well currently. The reality is here, people do what I used to do back in the day. Oh, I bought Bitcoin, I bought a lot of altcoins, I'm going to trade it, I'm going to try and trade it, I'm going to try and sell it high, rebuy back low, and then you do that in a bull market and it just runs off without you, and that is not ideal. Now, I've already alluded to it, my DCA challenge, it's something that I would recommend people do. The reason being, it's easy, it's simple, and more importantly, money goes up over time. History in crypto proves that if you dollar cost average in Bitcoin, you would outperform pretty much everything, right? Reality is. Now, you can then use that Bitcoin, and that 80% until something happens is when there is speculative periods in altcoins, when there is meme coin cycles and boom and bust cycles that you can be a part of at the right time, right? If you are following the markets at the right time, you will be able to follow momentum as a momentum trader, as a positional holder, and follow the cycle narratives of a potential alt season, for example, or a potential Bitcoin season, for example, or a meme coin season, for example. Being in the market is the best way to do it. And if you're starting again right now, quitting is not an option, because if you run away from the market, you're going to find yourself in a whole world of pain when your altcoins do crap because you didn't take profit, or more importantly, you just missed the opportunities completely. People come back when the opportunities have already passed them. So yeah, you've already seen my DCA challenge is doing fantastically well considering. Even in a rough part of the market, it's done brilliant. It builds consistent habits, it no FOMO buys, and it allows you to build a nest egg. And that nest egg can allow you then to get into opportunities using some of that profit, so it's risk-free, into more speculative plays to grow that stash even more. Now, also, when we talk about DCA, we talk about getting in the market where it's small, little chunks, but also profit taking should be the same way. Dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out, profit taking, and try and get risk-free as quickly as possible is key here. The methodology is simple. If you are making 2-3x on your returns, you should be removing your initial investment. That is without question, without debate, you need to do that. Because if you're new to the market, you don't be keep pumping in money consistently and losing it. Because what's the point of that? Build a nest egg, get risk-free, and then continue to build that when you've got a budget system in place to allow you not to go broke if it does go to zero. That's the reality here. Everything can go to zero. There's always a probability chance of that. But people forget that. Then you need to keep riding that risk-free element. This is why I say to people, build a trading pot. Put money aside for trading and just trade the market and build that pot separately and allow your investments to mature and grow. Now, I ignored this at the start because in my early years, what it cost me was leaving money on the table. I should have took more profit. I should have been risk-free much quicker. And I was in a way because I went through an absolute massive, stupid cycle. But the reality was I could have banked much more. I could have easily banked much more. I just didn't. And I should have. However, you learn from your mistakes. And ideally, until you've been in that situation, you're going to find out the hard way, essentially. And we talk about time as a big factor in any sort of cryptocurrency or investment landscape. But in 10 years' time, right, if you're building a nest egg of, say, Bitcoin or a really good solid altcoin, maybe Ethereum, maybe Solana, whatever it may be, there's going to be times where it'll go really high for periods. You need to be able to go, I want to take some money off the table here. I want to move that into other markets. I want to take that and secure the bag. Regardless of everything else, you've earned it. Does it make sense not selling? Now, back in the day, this was totally different. This website, it looked relatively ugly back in the day, and now it looks a lot better. Mistakes that I would try to avoid, especially for everyone who's watching this. And, I know people have probably experienced enough to watch my channel enough to know some of these. But ultimately, holding altcoins for too long is a danger in itself. You've got to look at the BTC pairs. You've got to look at Bitcoin dominance. You've got to look at the stable currency dominance, which I talk about a lot on my channel. You've also got to look at the total 3/BTC, as well as metrics like the fear and greed, the altcoin index here, all that kind of stuff. You need to kind of keep an eye on it. Because if you're buying just because of influences, which you shouldn't do, and I know people comment in the chat going, oh, but you got me wrecked or you made me money, whatever, right? I am doing this as a transparent journey, what I bought. I talk about what I buy. That's the bottom line. Don't just copy, because everyone's got a different risk profile. People have different risk appetite. People also have different profit levels and how much they're playing with. So don't do that. Also, do not, whatever you do, ignore tracking. You need to track your portfolio. You need to know what you've got, where you bought it, why you bought it, when you bought it, so you know what your profit levels are, and so you know when to sell it. So yeah, keep it simple, really simple. And if you're going to start again, you need to understand the absolute key basic of time. If you do want to learn from me, though, this is my company. It's like the Netflix of crypto. That's what we want to build it into, by the way. Loads of educational stuff is coming. About 100 plus videos are coming. Give it time and they'll be on there as a membership. Now, for me, Bitcoin is the core bet, the core element around majority of this. Now, I rumble opinions because people believe that altcoins will make you rich. They will, if you buy at the right time and if you sell at the right time. Holding an altcoin forever doesn't work all the time because there's diminishing returns in the BTC pair because of how powerful Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is an institutional-led thing now. It is different. It's macro related. It's ETF inflow on the screen here. Institutions are buying it. Companies are buying it, right? This is why 80% of your portfolio should be that, because it acts as a counterbalance. If you set up your portfolio tracking and you toggle it to Bitcoin, it's what the value is. I say this a lot. Go to the Satoshi pairs of any asset, put in the Satoshis, and then put that into Google as a USD sum. It will equal the price of your altcoin. That is why alt seasons is when altcoins are outperforming the BTC pair. It showcases on that. So yeah, it's a proven strategy. It works because this allows you to keep wealth. Even when this goes down 20, 30%, it goes back up, doesn't it? It's crazy when you look at it. Look at the time span. Crazy. Do it. Now, I wish I had this little playbook back in 2016. I wish I knew it all. I do. I wish I could just plug in and go, right, I'll start again. Back from those days. But if you're serious about doing it the right way, you've got to do it properly. And you've got to really stop guessing and just go for it. And yeah, if I had $10,000 just to start right now from afresh, I would literally do that. 80% Bitcoin, 15% altcoins, literally. And for me, it is Bitcoin runes. It is my speculative high risk play. But it might make me more Bitcoin. Why not? I'd rather risk less there than do it on an altcoin, which could well be a scam or potential rug pull, or it just may not perform at all.